One more area that should be important to you guys is about management commentary. Okay, so what is the idea behind the concept of management commentary? ISB feels that numbers and disclosures alone cannot help users of financial statement.
Assalamu alaikum everyone. I am Adil Murtaza from Lahore, Pakistan. I am a CA finalist student doing articleship from a firm. Recently, I switched to ACCA and started studying financial reporting from Sir Yasir Yamin. My experience with Sir Yasir Yamin is very good. He is a very excellent teacher, and he used to teach at your level. And my best wishes for Sir Yasir Yamin and his team.
Understand everything. Although you make financial statements and you form disclosures, but ISB feels that just giving out disclosures and just giving out many of the numbers, income statement, balance sheet, there is a risk that people may not actually understand what you're trying to say, or they may interpret the numbers incorrectly, or the financial statements in itself become too complex for people to understand. And that is why many regulators and the ISB itself is actually promoting companies to provide management commentary. It should be a narrative, it should be a descriptive report alongside the financial statements that particularly provides commentary on an entity's prospects and other information which is not explicitly mentioned within the financial statements. I mean, you should talk about the market structure. I mean, you should talk about market pricing. You should talk about competition. Competition is nowhere present in disclosures, but it is important information. You should talk about business risks and the opportunities that you have. Opportunities. You should give a narrative statement. It should be given by the management. It should be given by the directors. And you should talk about the areas of concern that that a shareholder would have out of a company. This should be alongside the financial statements. Numbers are important, but the overall scenario, the market picture, the bigger picture is also important. So there is a draft document, or you may say a best practice document published by ISB. Remember, it is a non-binding document. It is just a guidance document. It is just a guidance document which guides companies on what to talk about in management commentary and what not. I mean, I don't want you to make a newspaper. I don't want you to write so much of irrelevant information that actually your users don't use. And I don't want you to be brief with your narrative report. ISB says, I don't want you to write just 2 lines and say that, okay, we have done so much and, just the good parts and skipping up the bad parts. Don't do that. It's not an appraisal document. IFRS says that, a practice statements should include a management commentary that, comments on various aspects of the business. For example, it should talk about what is the nature of the business, what you are doing currently, what you can do, what is actually the business. You should talk about the management's objectives and strategies that are nowhere, covered within the financial statements. You talk about the objectives and strategies which the director have, and talk about with truthness. Tell the people, okay, so we are a traditional manufacturing company right now, but we want to become an innovative technology company in the future. For example, we have been dealing, in this type of markets lately, and now we want to do this. Give out your objectives and strategies so that people know the concept behind the numbers, that why numbers are such, which they see in the financial statements. Talk about your most significant resources and the risks and the relationship that you have with your suppliers, with your customers, with other competitors, and so on and so forth, with the government, with the tax authorities, with the associations, and so on and so forth. Talk about these areas, right? And talk about your results of operations and prospects. I mean, talk about ROAS. You can talk about return on equities. You can, talk about, other ratios or APMs. You talk about those as well. So, why do you want to, focus or require your user of the financial statement to apply a ratio himself? You should do it for him, and give out the positives and negatives in the economic results that you have just posted. Tell your user of the financial statement what are the critical performance measures and indicators on which your performance should be assessed. I mean, should it be assessed based on EBITDA, or should it be assessed based on anything else? So just focus it. Go and tell them that, don't measure our performance based on EPS. Maybe measure our performance based on, EBITDA. EBITDA may be more relevant, because depreciation and amortization is not a cash expense. You should appraise our performance based on EBITDA. You can say that, right? So management commentary, overall, it is a non-binding guidance document. It is a narrative report that has to be reported alongside the financial statements, so that it provides your primary users of financial statements much more information about the business. And you should be learning these 5 things as well, right? So digital assets, materiality important, and management commentary is absolutely important, I believe, for this attempt, among all other information that you may have got through technical articles or through any other things that we discussed in our regular classes and everything else. These 3 things, I believe, should be an add-on. Now, here I would also want you to have a fair bit of idea, right? I want to be very much honest with you. There is no guarantee that these 3 topics will only come into your exam, right? There is no guarantee. But you have to use your common sense when you are in your exam. All of the things that your examiner is going to question will somehow be part of your existing knowledge or your common sense. So rather than just foregoing the requirement or foregoing the question and giving out your examination and just failing out in it, you should try your best by adding or making an answer out of whatever you know. So I always say to my students, if a requirement comes into your examination that you don't know the answer of, and you have time to complete the whole paper, I mean, just think about it that, for example, if you were creating an accounting standard or an accounting treatment, what would you recommend? What would you recommend? And anything that then comes into your mind, you just go and write it in your examination. That is what your examiner requires. He doesn't want a perfect answer, but he just wants to see that can you use your brain or not? Do you have basic ideas of the current issues that are prevailing in the society? Yes or no? If you can write a bit for it, he'll give you the whole marks, I'm pretty sure. So overall, this is the thing which is important. Okay. So go through this document. You can just give me a WhatsApp and I'll give you this, document as well in the PDF form. And I hope it helps you in your examination. It is a very brief document. You should carefully, run through it, go through it 3 or 4 times, and just wish that anything from what we've studied right now, it comes into your examination, right? I'll be very happy to help you in any case in which I can. So just feel free to talk to me whenever on my WhatsApp number, which is given on the slide. And hopefully, this whole of this lecture, although lengthy, but it will be helpful for you. Thank you very much. Take care. Allah Hafiz.